If your mind is racing or your body feels heavy with the day's work, let this story be your sanctuary. We are going to slow everything down. We will watch the snow fall over the valley, feel the warmth of an ancient hearth, and listen to the whispers of a sleeping house. This is a story designed to turn off your thoughts and guide you, drift by drift, into the deepest slumber you've had in years. Are you ready to let go? The world as you know it has begun to fade. The sharp edges of the day, the lists of things to do, the bright lights of the present moment, all of them are drifting away, retreating into the distance like a receding shoreline. In their place, a new reality begins to take shape. It is a softer world, a quieter world, a world painted in shades of twilight indigo and winter white. You are no longer where you were. You have stepped back in time, slipping effortlessly into the late 19th century, into the heart of a deep New England winter. You are seated comfortably inside a private carriage. It is a handsome, enclosed brougham, built of dark, polished oak and lined with the softest crushed velvet. The air inside is still and warm, held close by the thick curtains and the sturdy craftsmanship of a bygone era. But before you see anything, before you even open your eyes to the dim amber light of the lantern swinging gently from the roof, you feel the motion. It is a rhythmic, gentle swaying, rocking back and forth, back and forth. There is a hypnosis in this movement, a primitive comfort that goes back to the very beginning of memory. The carriage is suspended on high leather springs, designed to absorb the roughness of the country road, turning every bump and stone into a soft, lulling undulation. It feels less like a vehicle rolling over the ground and more like a small boat drifting on a calm, moonlit lake. You feel the weight of your body sinking deeper into the plush, tufted seat cushions. They embrace you, supporting your shoulders, your back, your weary legs, inviting you to let go of every ounce of tension you have been holding. And then there is the sound. It is the heartbeat of this journey, a steady, repetitive percussion that acts as a lullaby for your busy mind. Crunch, 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 crunch. The large wooden wheels, rimmed with iron, are rolling over a thick carpet of fresh, packed snow. It is not a harsh sound. It is muffled, dampened by the winter powder that covers the earth. It is a satisfying, low-frequency rhythm that seems to say, "We are going, we are going. There is no rush, there is no rush." Listen closely to the symphony of the carriage. Beneath the rolling of the wheels, there is the creak of the wood, a dry, seasoned sound, like the groaning of an old ship settling into the water. It is a friendly sound, speaking of age, stability, and safety. You hear the faint, rhythmic jingle of the harness brasses from the horses up ahead. It is a delicate chime, chiming in time with their steady trot. Chink, 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 chink. It reaches you as a whisper, filtered through the glass of the window and the heavy wooden doors. The horses, two strong and gentle giants, know this road by heart. They do not hurry. In this time, in this place, speed is not a virtue. The journey itself is the purpose. You can hear the cadence of their hooves, a four-beat gait that never falters. Clip-clop, soft thud. Clip-clop, soft thud. Because of the snow, the strike of their hooves is softened, stripped of any sharpness, leaving only a dull, comforting throb that vibrates gently through the floorboards of the carriage and travels up through the soles of your feet, grounding you. You decide to lift your heavy eyelids just for a moment to look outside. The window glass is cool, radiating a refreshing chill that contrasts beautifully with the toasty warmth of the cabin. You have a heavy wool blanket tucked around your legs, and a copper foot warmer wrapped in flannel rests beneath your boots, sending waves of heat up through your body. You are entirely insulated, a warm ember traveling through a frozen world. Outside, the light is fading. It is that magical hour between day and night, the gloaming, where the sky turns a deep, bruised purple before settling into charcoal gray. The snow is falling steadily now, not a storm, but a gentle, silent descent of millions of flakes. Through the window, you watch them. They are large, intricate flakes, drifting down in slow motion, dancing in the air before they find their resting place. As the carriage moves, the snowflakes seem to rush to meet you, only to sweep past at the last second, creating a mesmerizing tunnel of white streaks against the darkening forest. The trees on the side of the road are tall eastern white pines and ancient maples. Their branches are heavy, laden with mounds of white snow, bowing down as if to salute you as you pass. They are silent sentinels, guarding the road, their dark green needles looking almost black in the fading light. Every now and then, the carriage passes an opening in the trees, revealing the vast, untouched landscape of the countryside. You see stone walls, painstakingly built by farmers 100 years ago, now looking like jagged lines of white ink drawn across a dark canvas. The world outside is still, absolutely motionless. No other travelers, no houses in sight, just the endless, peaceful slumber of nature in winter. The isolation is not lonely, it is liberating. It means that for this hour, no one can reach you. No one needs anything from you. You are anonymous, a traveler in the dark, safe inside your moving sanctuary. Inside the carriage, a small oil lantern hangs from a brass hook near the door. The flame is turned low, casting a warm, honey-colored glow over the interior. The light flickers gently with the motion of the wheels, causing shadows to dance softly across the velvet upholstery. You watch the shadows sway, left, right, left, right. The movement is so predictable, so reliable, that your eyes begin to lose their focus. The golden light reflects off the polished brass handle of the door, gleaming like a singular star in your small universe. You breathe in deeply. The air inside the carriage has a distinct scent, one that evokes memories of comfort and tradition. It smells of old leather, rich and earthy. There is a faint hint of beeswax polish used on the wood, and perhaps a lingering trace of pine smoke that drifted in when the door was last opened. It is a clean, dry scent, grounding and real. You take another breath, holding it for a moment, and then exhaling slowly, watching your own breath mist ever so slightly in the cooler air near the window before vanishing. The rhythm of the wheels continues. Crunch, roll, crunch, roll. Your body begins to surrender to the motion. The tension in your jaw releases. Your shoulders drop away from your ears. The muscles in your back unravel, sinking deeper into the soft embrace of the seat. You realize that you don't have to hold yourself up. The carriage is carrying you. The horses are carrying you. The story is carrying you. There is something profoundly soothing about being a passenger, to surrender control, to trust the driver, whose silhouette you can just barely see through the front glass, wrapped in a heavy greatcoat, his hat pulled low against the snow. He knows the way to Willow Creek. He knows every turn, every dip in the road. You don't need to worry about the direction. You don't need to check the time. In fact, time seems to have stopped altogether. There is only this continuous loop of motion and sound. The road begins to curve, following the natural bend of a frozen stream that runs along the path. The carriage leans ever so slightly to the right, a gentle tilt that cradles you before straightening out again. The sound of the wheels change pitch slightly as the carriage crosses a small wooden bridge. Hollow thud, hollow thud, hollow thud. For a brief second, the sound echoes against the frozen water below, a deeper, resonant note before returning to the familiar crunch of snow on gravel. The repetition is a balm. It washes over you like waves on a shore, rolling, rocking, drifting. You find yourself staring at the rhythmic movement of the tassel hanging from the window blind. It swings like a pendulum. Tick, tock, tick, tock. With every swing, your eyelids grow heavier. The desire to keep them open is fading. The world outside, the snowy pines, the stone walls, the gray sky, is blurring into a soft wash of colors. It feels good to close your eyes, to just listen. With your eyes closed, the sounds become clearer, more intimate. You hear the creak of the leather springs more distinctly. You hear the soft snort of one of the horses, a puff of air clearing its nostrils in the cold. You hear the wind, a low, mournful but gentle whistle as it brushes past the wooden frame of the carriage. It is the song of winter, playing just for you, separated from you by walls of oak and glass. You are warm, you are safe. You are moving towards a place of rest. The carriage rolls on, cutting a path through the silence of the night. The wheels turn, measuring out the miles not in distance, but in peace. Each revolution of the wheel takes you further away from the noise of your life and closer to the center of yourself. Crunch, crunch, crunch. The sound is a heartbeat. The sway is a cradle. The darkness is a blanket. You settle in, pulling the wool blanket higher up your chest, tucking it under your chin. The wool is scratchy but warm, a tactile reminder of the rustic comfort of this era. You let your head rest against the velvet corner of the seat. The vibration of the road hums against your temple, a massage for the mind. On and on you go, through the valley, under the trees, through the snow. The rhythm of the carriage wheels is the only thing that exists. It is the only thing that matters. And as the miles slip away beneath you, you feel yourself beginning to drift, floating on the sea of white and gray, carried by the rhythm deeper and deeper into the journey. The road ahead is long, and there is no need to arrive just yet. For now, there is only the ride, the beautiful, hypnotic, never-ending ride through the winter night. The rhythmic swaying of the carriage has loosened the grip of the waking world upon you, and now your curiosity gently pulls you toward the glass. You shift slightly in your seat, the velvet cushions sighing beneath you, and turn your gaze to the window. The pane is cold, radiating a sharp, clean chill that hovers just inches from your face. In the corners of the glass, intricate patterns of frost have begun to form, delicate ferns and feathers made of ice, nature's own etching, framing the view that lies beyond. You wipe a small circle on the foggy glass with the sleeve of your coat, clearing a portal into the winter night. What you see takes your breath away, not with its grandeur, but with its absolute profound stillness. The world outside has been transformed. The familiar shapes of the earth, the jagged rocks, the uneven dirt paths, the tangled brush, have all been smoothed over, hidden beneath a thick, pristine blanket of white. It is a seamless quilt woven from millions of snowflakes, tucking the valley in for a long, deep sleep. As the carriage winds its way along the ridge, you have a perfect vantage point to look down into the valley below. It is a vast bowl of silence. The snow here is deep, perhaps 2 or 3 feet, undisturbed by any human footprint. It glows with a faint spectral light, reflecting the last lingering hues of the twilight sky and the rising moon. It is not just white, it is a palette of softest grays, pale blues, and bruised purples, shifting shadows that stretch long and thin across the fields as the evening deepens. In the foreground, passing close enough to almost touch, are the stone walls. These are the ancient spines of New England, rocks piled high by farmers generations ago to mark the boundaries of their land. Now, they are softened, capped with mounds of snow that look like pillows. The sharp edges of the granite are gone, replaced by smooth, rounded curves. They run alongside the road like a white ribbon, guiding you forward, a testament to endurance against the elements. Beyond the walls, the trees stand watch. This is a land of giants. You see the eastern white pines towering high above the carriage, their dark needle-covered branches reaching out like arms. They are heavy tonight. The snow clings to every bough, weighing them down in graceful arches. They look like monks in white robes, heads bowed in silent prayer. Occasionally, a breeze, too soft for you to hear inside the carriage, shakes a branch, and a plume of snow dust falls silently to the forest floor, like a ghost vanishing into the ground. Interspersed with the evergreens are the paper birches. Their bark is peeling and white, almost blending into the snow, but marked with stark black scars that stand out like ink on parchment. They are slender and flexible, bending slightly under the winter weight, looking like frozen lightning bolts striking the earth. And then there are the great maples, now stripped of their autumn glory. They stand as sleeping skeletons, their intricate network of bare branches etched black against the darkening sky. They are dormant, resting, saving their energy deep within their roots, waiting patiently for a spring that feels a lifetime away. Your eyes travel further, down the slope of the hill, toward the center of the river. In the summer, this water would be rushing, noisy, reflecting the green of the canopy. But tonight, the river is a frozen highway of ice. It winds through the valley like a vein of silver. The center of the river is frozen solid, a sheet of dark, polished glass where the wind has swept the snow away. Near the banks, the ice is white and rough, merging imperceptibly with the land. It is stillness in its purest form, power and motion captured and held in suspended animation by the cold. You imagine, just for a moment, what it would be like to stand on that ice, in the center of the vast emptiness, with nothing but the stars above and the frozen water below. The silence there would be absolute. As the carriage moves on, the landscape opens up into a wide meadow. Here, the blanket metaphor feels most real. The field is a perfect, unbroken expanse. The wind has sculpted the snow here into gentle drifts, rolling waves that mimic the ocean, frozen in time. The light from the carriage lantern catches the crests of these drifts, making them sparkle as if someone has scattered a handful of diamonds across the ground. Glitter, fade, glitter, fade. It is hypnotic to watch these sparks of light appear and vanish as you roll past. There is life here too, though it is hidden. You spot the tiny, delicate tracks of a fox weaving near the fence line, a dotted line of purpose in an aimless landscape. But the creature itself is gone, tucked away in some warm burrow, safe from the chill. The birds have retreated to the dense shelter of the hemlocks. The squirrels are curled deep within the hollows of the oaks. The entire valley is holding its breath, hibernating. This sense of collective rest is contagious. Seeing nature sleep makes your own eyelids heavy. If the trees can rest, if the river can stop its rushing, if the earth itself can take a pause, then surely you can too. The road ahead is long, and there is no need to arrive just yet. For now, there is only the ride, the beautiful, hypnotic, never-ending ride through the winter night. The rhythmic swaying of the carriage has loosened the grip of the waking world upon you, and now your curiosity gently pulls you toward the glass. You shift slightly in your seat, the velvet cushion sighing beneath you, and turn your gaze to the window. The pane is cold, radiating a sharp, clean chill that hovers just inches from your face. In the corners of the glass, intricate patterns of frost have begun to form, delicate ferns and feathers made of ice, nature's own etching, framing the view that lies beyond. You wipe a small circle on the foggy glass with the sleeve of your coat, clearing a portal into the winter night. What you see takes your breath away, not with its grandeur, but with its absolute, profound stillness. The world outside has been transformed. The familiar shapes of the earth, the jagged rocks, the uneven dirt paths, the tangled brush, have all been smoothed over, hidden beneath a thick, pristine blanket of white. It is a seamless quilt, woven from millions of snowflakes, tucking the valley in for a long, deep sleep. As the carriage winds its way along the ridge, you have a perfect vantage point to look down into the valley below. It is a vast bowl of silence. The snow here is deep, perhaps 2 or 3 feet, undisturbed by any human footprint. It glows with a faint spectral light, reflecting the last lingering hues of the twilight sky and the rising moon. It is not just white. It is a palette of softest grays, pale blues, and bruised purples, shifting shadows that stretch long and thin across the fields as the evening deepens. In the foreground, passing close enough to almost touch, are the stone walls. These are the ancient spines of New England, rocks piled high by farmers generations ago to mark the boundaries of their land. Now, they are softened, capped with mounds of snow that look like pillows. The sharp edges of the granite are gone, replaced by smooth, rounded curves. They run alongside the road like a white ribbon, guiding you forward, a testament to endurance against the elements. Beyond the walls, the trees stand watch. This is a land of giants. You see the eastern white pines, towering high above the carriage, their dark, needle-covered branches reaching out like arms. They are heavy tonight. The snow clings to every bough, weighing them down in graceful arches. They look like monks in white robes, heads bowed in silent prayer. Occasionally, a breeze, too soft for you to hear inside the carriage, shakes a branch, and a plume of snow dust falls silently to the forest floor, like a ghost vanishing into the ground. Interspersed with the evergreens are the paper birches. Their bark is peeling and white, almost blending into the snow, but marked with stark black scars that stand out like ink on parchment. They are slender and flexible, bending slightly under the winter weight, looking like frozen lightning bolts striking the earth. And then there are the great maples, now stripped of their autumn glory. They stand as sleeping skeletons, their intricate network of bare branches etched black against the darkening sky. They are dormant, resting, saving their energy deep within their roots, waiting patiently for a spring that feels a lifetime away. Your eyes travel further, down the slope of the hill, toward the center of the valley. There lies the river. In the summer, this water would be rushing, noisy, reflecting the green of the canopy. But tonight, the river is a frozen highway of ice. It winds through the valley like a vein of silver. The center of the river is frozen solid, a sheet of dark, polished glass where the wind has swept the snow away. Near the banks, the ice is white and rough, merging imperceptibly with the land. It is stillness in its purest form, power and motion captured and held in suspended animation by the cold. You imagine, just for a moment, what it would be like to stand on that ice in the center of the vast emptiness, with nothing but the stars above and the frozen water below. The silence there would be absolute. As the carriage moves on, the landscape opens up into a wide meadow. Here, the blanket metaphor feels most real. The field is a perfect, unbroken expanse. The wind has sculpted the snow here into gentle drifts, rolling waves that mimic the ocean, frozen in time. The light from the carriage lantern catches the crests of these drifts, making them sparkle as if someone has scattered a handful of diamonds across the ground. Glitter, fade, glitter, fade. It is hypnotic to watch these sparks of light appear and vanish as you roll past. There is life here too, though it is hidden. You spot the tiny, delicate tracks of a fox weaving near the fence line, a dotted line of purpose in an aimless landscape. But the creature itself is gone, tucked away in some warm burrow, safe from the chill. The birds have retreated to the dense shelter of the hemlocks. The squirrels are curled deep within the hollows of the oaks. The entire valley is holding its breath, hibernating. This sense of collective rest is contagious. Seeing nature sleep makes your own eyelids heavy. If the trees can rest, if the river can stop its rushing, if the earth itself can take a pause, then surely you can too. The sky above the valley is changing now. The indigo of twilight is surrendering to the true black of night. But it is not a dark, scary black. It is a soft, velvety darkness, sprinkled with the first few stars of the evening. They are crisp and clear in the cold air, twinkling with a sharpness you never see in the summer. And there, rising over the distant ridge, is the moon. It is a winter moon, pale and luminous. Its light spills into the valley, turning the snow from gray to a milky, ethereal blue. The shadows of the trees stretch longer, painting stripes across the road ahead. The carriage turns a corner, and the view shifts. You are now passing a small frozen pond, encircled by cattails that stand stiff and brown against the white. The reeds rustle slightly, a dry, whispering sound that barely penetrates the carriage walls. A light mist, or sea smoke, hovers just above the surface of the ice, a ghostly vapor that curls and twists in the moonlight. It adds a layer of mystery to the scene, blurring the line between the earth and the air. You realize how small you are in this vast, frozen landscape. But this smallness does not bring fear, it brings relief. The valley is huge, ancient, and indifferent to the worries of your daily life. Your problems seem insignificant against the scale of these snowy hills and the timeless endurance of the pines. The valley absorbs everything, sound, light, worry, and gives back only silence and peace. You lean your head back against the seat, but keep your eyes on the passing scenery. The world outside is a moving painting, a silent film of serenity. White hills, dark trees, silver ice, white hills. The repetition of the landscape mirrors the repetition of the wheels. The cold beauty of the New England winter is not harsh, it is cleansing. It strips away the noise and the clutter, leaving only the essentials: wood, stone, ice, snow. You watch a single snowflake land on the outside of the glass. It sticks there for a moment, a perfect six-pointed star, intricate and fragile. You study its geometry, marveling at its perfection. Then, slowly, the warmth from inside the carriage begins to melt it. The edges soften, the structure collapses, and it transforms into a tiny bead of water that trails down the glass like a tear of joy. The carriage dips into a small hollow, and the trees close in again, creating a tunnel of branches. The open view of the valley is replaced by the intimate embrace of the forest. The snow here is piled high on the banks, creating walls of white on either side of the road. You feel cocooned, protected. The vastness of the valley was awe-inspiring, but this enclosed path is comforting. It feels like a secret passage, leading you away from the world you know, deeper into the sanctuary of the night. You take one last look at the frozen river peeking through the trees before it disappears. It sleeps. The valley sleeps. The mountains sleep under their white caps. You pull your gaze away from the window, carrying the image of that peaceful white silence into your mind. You close your eyes, and the after-image of the snowy valley remains, a glowing blue-white landscape of total tranquility. You are no longer just observing the piece, you are traveling through it, breathing it in, becoming a part of the quiet winter night. The carriage rolls on, leaving the sleeping valley behind, carrying you toward the warmth that awaits. There is a specific feeling that comes near the end of a long journey. You do not need a watch to know it is happening. You do not need a map to tell you that you are close. You feel it in the change of the air. You feel it in the subtle shift of the horse's gait. A renewed energy, a lifting of their heads. They know just as well as the driver that oats and a warm stable are waiting just around the bend. And you, nestled deep within your velvet cocoon, feel a heavy, sweet wave of relief wash over you. The road is ending. The rest is beginning. The carriage begins to slow. The rhythmic drumming of the hoofs transitions from a steady trot to a gentle walk. The silence of the winter night seems to press in closer, more intimate now. You lean forward slightly, peering through the frosted glass, searching the darkness for the sign you have been waiting for. At first, there is only the swirling mist. The temperature has dropped, and a low-lying fog has risen from the snow, mingling with the falling flakes, to create a veil of soft, shifting gray. It wraps around the trunks of the ancient oaks that line the driveway, obscuring the path ahead. But then, you see it. A light. It starts as a faint, blurry halo in the distance, a pinpoint of warmth in a landscape of cool blues and whites. It is not the harsh white glare of a modern street lamp. It is a living light. It is the deep, rich amber of oil lamps and the flickering orange of roaring fires. As the carriage rolls closer, the light grows, expanding and pushing back the fog, casting a golden net over the snow. This is the first greeting of Willow Creek Manor. Emerging from the mist, the silhouette of the great house begins to take shape. It is a magnificent structure, built in the old style, perhaps a sprawling Victorian or a sturdy colonial estate, standing proud against the winter elements. It does not look imposing or fortress-like. Rather, it looks like a grand, welcoming embrace.
The house is large, with multiple gables and a wide wraparound porch that seems to say, "Come in, traveler. You have been in the cold long enough." What captivates you most are the windows.
In the darkness of the countryside, the manor looks like a lantern itself. Every window on the ground floor is aglow. It is a spectacle of hospitality. You can see the heavy velvet drapes pulled back, allowing the light to spill out onto the snowy lawn. The light catches the falling snowflakes, turning them into falling sparks of gold dust before they touch the ground. The snowbanks pushed up against the foundation of the house are illuminated from within, glowing with a soft, buttery yellow that promises heat and comfort. As you draw nearer, the details of the scene become clearer. You see the smoke rising from 3 massive stone chimneys. The smoke does not rush upwards, it drifts lazily, curling into the night sky, carrying with it the faint nostalgic scent of burning hickory and pine. It is the smell of home. It is the smell of safety. Even before you step out of the carriage, that scent reaches you, triggering a primal memory of gathering around a hearth, of being protected from the wild. The carriage wheels leave the soft snow of the main road and crunch onto the gravel of the circular driveway. The sound is different here, crisper, deeper. Crunch, slow. Crunch, slow. The horse's hooves clatter gently on the cobblestones near the entrance. The movement of the carriage becomes a rocking cradle, barely moving now, just easing you toward the front steps. Above the main entrance, a large iron lantern hangs from a chain. The flame inside dances behind the glass, casting long, welcoming shadows across the wooden planks of the porch. The wood of the house is dark, perhaps cedar or mahogany, aged by 100 winters, but tonight it gleams under the golden light, looking rich and sturdy. You can see a wreath made of fresh holly and pine hanging on the massive oak front door, a ribbon of deep red velvet trailing from it. It is a symbol of the season, a symbol of joy waiting within. The driver pulls the reins gently. "Whoa," he whispers, a sound barely louder than the wind. The carriage comes to a halt. For a moment, you do not move. You simply sit there, savoring the stillness. The rocking has stopped. The journey is officially over. There is a profound sense of completion in this moment. The miles lie behind you, swallowed by the dark. The destination is here, bathed in light. You feel the tension draining out of your legs, your back, your neck. There is nowhere else you need to go. There are no more miles to cover. You have arrived at your sanctuary. You look out at the manor one last time from the safety of your seat. It looks like a painting come to life. The contrast between the cold, blue-black night outside and the warm, honey-colored world inside the house is striking. It draws you in. It calls to your tired spirit. You can almost feel the warmth radiating through the walls. You imagine the rooms inside, filled with overstuffed armchairs, thick Persian rugs, and the murmur of quiet conversation. The door of the carriage opens from the outside. A gust of cold air rushes in, but it is refreshing, waking you from your daze just enough to move. The driver, a kind-faced man with snow on the shoulders of his coat, offers you a hand. "Welcome to Willow Creek," he says softly. His voice is warm, matching the glow of the house. You step down from the carriage. Your boots sink slightly into the thin layer of fresh snow on the drive, making a satisfying soft sound. The air here is crisp and incredibly pure. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs with the chill, which only makes the anticipation of the warmth inside that much sweeter. Standing there at the foot of the steps, you look up at the house. It feels immense, solid, and protective. The golden light spilling from the windows washes over you, illuminating your face and your hands. It feels like a blessing. The light creates a circle of safety around the manor. Within this circle, the winter cannot touch you. The wind cannot bite. The worries of the world cannot enter. You hear the faint sound of a dog barking deep inside the house, a muffled, happy sound, not a warning. You hear the chime of a grandfather clock striking the hour, its deep resonance vibrating through the wooden door. These are the sounds of a house that is alive, a house that has seen 1,000 winters and sheltered 1,000 travelers. You walk up the wide wooden steps. They are swept clean of snow, but you can see the grain of the wood under the lantern light. Your hand reaches out to touch the railing. It is cold and smooth, grounded and real. As you approach the massive oak door, you notice the intricate carvings on its surface, vines and leaves, worn smooth by the touch of countless hands over the decades. The brass knocker is shaped like a lion's head, polished to a mirror shine, reflecting the golden light of the lantern above. But you do not need to knock. The house has been expecting you. Before your hand can reach the latch, the heavy door begins to swing inward. A wedge of golden light spills out, widening, widening, until it floods the porch. It is brighter than the lantern, warmer than the sun. It wraps around you like a heavy blanket. Along with the light comes a rush of air, warm, scented with cinnamon, clove, wood smoke, and old books. It is the breath of Willow Creek Manor, exhaling a welcome. A silhouette stands in the doorway, beckoning you in. You cross the threshold. The moment your foot touches the floor inside, the cold of the winter night is instantly severed. It is gone. You are no longer a traveler in the storm. You are a guest in the light. The heavy door closes behind you with a solid, reassuring thud, shutting out the wind, the snow, and the dark. You are inside. You are enveloped in the golden glow. You are safe. The journey to Willow Creek is done. The night of rest has begun. The heavy oak door closes behind you with a sound that is both solid and final. Thud. It is a low, dull sound, the sound of a barrier being sealed. In that single instant, the howling wind, the rustling trees, and the biting chill of the New England night are severed from your reality. They belong to a different world now, a world that exists on the other side of the wood, miles away from where you stand. Here, inside, there is only stillness. You stand there for a moment in the foyer, your boots resting on a thick, hand-woven rug, allowing your body to adjust to the sudden, glorious change in atmosphere. The first thing that hits you, before your eyes can even fully register the grandeur of the room, is the wall of warmth. It is not a stifling heat. It is a living, breathing warmth. It rushes to meet you like an old friend, wrapping around your cold shoulders, touching your frozen cheeks with invisible, gentle fingers. You can feel the skin of your face tingling as the blood returns to the surface, a prickly, pleasant sensation that tells you that you are safe. You take a slow, deep breath, expanding your lungs fully, and that is when the magic of Willow Creek Manor truly enters you. The scent. It is a fragrance so rich, so layered, and so evocative of peace that it almost feels like a physical embrace. The primary note is pine, fresh, crisp, and resinous. It is the scent of the forest brought indoors, tamed and warmed. You look around and see why. The grand hall is decorated for the season. Thick, lush garlands of balsam fir and white pine are draped lovingly along the banisters of the sweeping staircase. They frame the doorways and rest upon the mantel of the great fireplace. These are not dry, brittle decorations. They are fresh boughs, cut perhaps only this morning from the woods you just traveled through. The warmth of the room has coaxed the oils from the needles, releasing that signature sharp, clean aroma that clears the mind and grounds the spirit. It smells of sap, of evergreen needles, of the deep, quiet woods. But beneath the pine, there are warmer, sweeter currents drifting through the air. You catch the spicy, woody fragrance of cinnamon sticks bundled together and tucked into the greenery. There is the dark, earthy perfume of cloves, perhaps studding a bowl of oranges somewhere nearby, releasing a citrusy tang that brightens the heavier scents. There is a hint of cedar wood from the paneling of the walls, and the faint, sweet smell of beeswax polish that has been rubbed into the floorboards for generations. And underneath it all, binding these scents together, is the subtle, comforting smell of wood smoke, clean, dry hickory burning in a hearth. It is a symphony of smells. It is the scent of a 19th century winter, preserved perfectly in this hall. It tells your brain that there is no work to be done here. There is only rest. You finally lift your eyes to take in the room itself. The grand hall is magnificent, yet it does not feel like a museum. It feels like a home. The ceiling soars high above you, lost in the shadows of the rafters, giving the space a sense of airiness and freedom. From the center hangs a wrought iron chandelier, holding not electric bulbs, but dozens of thick, cream-colored candles. They are real candles. You can see the flames flickering gently, each one a tiny dancing spirit of light. They do not cast the harsh, unwavering glare of modern lights. Instead, they produce a soft, amber glow that is kind to the eyes. The light shifts and sways, causing shadows to waltz slowly in the corners of the room. It turns the dark wood of the walls into liquid gold and deep chocolate, rich and lustrous. The walls are paneled in dark oak, rising halfway to the ceiling. The wood is old, seasoned by time, absorbing the light rather than reflecting it, which makes the room feel smaller, cozier, despite its grand size. Above the paneling, the walls are hung with tapestries and oil paintings in heavy gilded frames. Landscapes of the valley in summer, portraits of ancestors who watch over the hall with benevolent painted eyes. Your gaze is drawn inevitably to the heart of the room, the fireplace. It is massive, built from rough-hewn river stones that stretch all the way to the ceiling. The stones are gray and tan, smooth to the touch, warmed by decades of fires. And the fire that burns there tonight is a masterpiece. Huge logs, as thick as a man's waist, are stacked on the iron grate. They are burning with a slow, steady intensity. You walk slowly toward it, the floorboards creaking softly, respectfully under your weight. Creak, step, creak, step. As you get closer, the sound of the fire becomes the dominant soundtrack of the room. It is not a roar, but a conversation. You hear the deep, low rumble of the draft drawing the air up the chimney. You hear the sharp pop of a sap pocket bursting, followed by the gentle hiss of escaping steam. Crackle, hiss, pop, hum. It is a white noise that is infinitely more relaxing than silence. It is the sound of energy being released as heat, the sound of the sun's energy stored in the wood for 50 years, now being given back to you on this one cold night. You stand before the hearth, extending your hands toward the flames. The heat is intense here, radiating outward in waves. You can feel it penetrating your gloves, your sleeves, soaking into your bones. It melts away the stiffness in your joints. You watch the flames dance, blue at the base, orange in the middle, disappearing into yellow sparks at the top. They are hypnotic. They twist and curl, never repeating the same shape twice. Staring into the fire, your thoughts begin to slow down, matching the lazy drift of the smoke. A figure approaches you quietly, a steward of the manor. He moves with the practiced grace of someone who values silence. He smiles, a warm, genuine expression that reaches his eyes. He does not speak loudly. His voice is a low murmur, blending with the crackle of the fire. "May I take your coat?" he asks. You nod, grateful. You begin to undo the heavy buttons of your winter coat, one by one. The thick wool has done its job, protecting you from the storm, but now it is a burden you no longer need. You slide your arms out of the sleeves. The steward takes the heavy garment from you. The moment the weight leaves your shoulders, you feel a physical sense of lightness. It is as if, along with the coat, you have handed over your worries, your responsibilities, and your stress. They are being taken away, hung up in a closet in the shadows to be dealt with another day. Tonight, you are unburdened. You are light. You look down at your feet. The rug beneath you is an intricate Persian design, worn soft by the years. The reds and blues of the wool are muted, soothing. You shift your weight, feeling the cushion of the rug through your soles. It feels grounding. To your left, a grand staircase sweeps upward in a gentle curve, disappearing into the dimmer light of the second floor. The steps are wide and polished, inviting you to ascend, but not yet. The grand hall holds you here a little longer. On a small side table near the stairs, a clock ticks. It is a tall grandfather clock, its pendulum swinging with a slow, majestic rhythm. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The sound is steady, unhurried. It does not measure time in seconds or minutes. It measures it in moments of peace. It reminds you that there is no rush. The night is long, the manor is safe. You take another deep breath, inhaling the pine, the cinnamon, the smoke. The scent has now settled into your clothes, into your hair. You are becoming part of the atmosphere. The cold world outside is a distant memory, a story told by someone else. Your reality is here, in the golden light, in the warmth of the stones, in the scent of the evergreen boughs. You turn your back to the fire, letting the heat warm your spine. You look out across the grand hall, seeing the soft leather armchairs arranged in conversational groups, empty and waiting. You see the dust motes dancing in the shadows of light, swirling in the currents of warm air. Everything is still. Everything is right. A feeling of profound gratitude washes over you. Gratitude for the shelter, gratitude for the warmth, gratitude for the simple ability to stand here and just be. You are ready now. The cold is gone from your body. Your mind has arrived. It is time to move deeper into the comfort of the manor. The steward has quietly retreated into the shadows, taking your heavy winter coat with him. As he walks away, his footsteps are absorbed completely by the thick wool runners on the floor, leaving you in a bubble of perfect warm silence. You are standing now in your lighter indoor clothes, perhaps a soft flannel shirt or a woolen sweater, and for the first time in hours, you feel the true shape of your own body. Without the weight of the heavy greatcoat pressing down on your shoulders, you feel a sudden, wonderful sense of buoyancy. It is as if gravity has loosened its hold on you. You rotate your shoulders gently, backwards and forwards. You feel the muscles which had been tensed against the cold wind and the rattling of the carriage begin to unlock. One by one,
The knots of stress dissolve. The tension melts, dripping away from your neck, down your spine, and vanishing into the floor. You find yourself drawn instinctively closer to the source of the heat. The fireplace is the altar of this room, and tonight you are its sole worshiper. The hearth is vast, a cavern of stone and fire, large enough to stand inside. A sturdy iron grate holds a mountain of logs, aged oak and maple, that burn with a determination to conquer the winter. You step up to the very edge of the hearthstone. It is a large slab of granite, smooth and dark. Through the soles of your boots, you can feel the heat radiating from the stone. It is a solid, grounded warmth that travels up through your feet, anchoring you to this spot. Slowly, deliberately, you begin the ritual of arrival. You reach up to unwrap the scarf from around your neck. The wool is soft, but it has been a barrier. As you loosen it loop by loop, the warm air of the room rushes in to kiss your skin. It feels incredibly tender. You pull the scarf away completely, and your neck feels free. You take a deep breath, and it feels different now, unrestricted, deep, and satisfying. Next, you look at your hands. They are still gloved, curled slightly from hours of holding on to the cold world outside. You reach for the fingertips of your left glove. You pull gently. The leather slides off with a faint whisper. Swish. You drop it onto the side table. Then the right. Swish. Your hands are bare.
You extend them toward the fire. You hold them out, palms open, fingers spread wide, offering them to the flames. The sensation is immediate and exquisite. The heat hits your palms like a physical wave. It is not scorching. It is a golden, permeating energy. You can feel the skin of your palms drinking in the warmth. The blood vessels, constricted by the frost, begin to dilate. You feel a gentle tingling, a hum of life returning to your fingertips. It starts as a prickle, then softens into a deep, throbbing comfort. You rub your hands together slowly. Slide, rub, slide, rub. Friction and fire working together to banish the last memory of the ice. Behind you, there is a large wingback chair. It is a piece of furniture that looks like it has been part of this house since the foundation was laid. It is upholstered in deep burgundy leather, worn soft and supple by years of use. It is a chair designed for one purpose, to hold a weary traveler. You turn and lower yourself into it. As you sit, the chair receives you. The leather sighs softly as it adjusts to your form. The cushions are not too soft, not too hard. They are substantial. The high back of the chair rises above your head, and the wings on the sides shield you from any drafts, creating a private cocoon within the larger room. You rest your head back against the leather. It is cool against your skin for a split second, then quickly warms to your touch. You lift your legs and place your feet on a padded ottoman in front of you. Your boots are still on, but the pressure is off your soles. Your legs feel heavy, pleasantly heavy, as if they are filled with warm sand. From this seated position, your view of the fire changes. You are no longer looking down at it. You are eye level with the flames. You watch the dance of the fire. It is nature's oldest television, and it is infinitely captivating. You focus on a single log at the bottom of the stack. It is glowing with an intense, pulsating red heat. Every few seconds, a pulse of white-hot light travels through the cracks in the wood, like a heartbeat. Pulse, glow, pulse, glow. Above the red embers, tongues of orange and yellow flame lick upwards. They are fluid, moving like water that flows in reverse. They twist and braid together, separating and rejoining in a mesmerizing rhythm. You watch a blue flame near the bottom, steady and ghost-like, burning hottest of all. The sound is closer now. You hear the deep thrum of the draft. You hear the tiny ticks of the wood shifting. It is a lullaby of destruction and creation, the wood turning into heat, the heat turning into comfort. A movement to your right catches your attention, but it does not startle you. It is the steward again. He has returned, moving like a shadow. He places a small round tray on the table beside your chair. He does not speak. He knows you're in the zone of decompression. He simply offers a small, kind nod and retreats again. You look at the tray. On it sits a steaming porcelain mug and a small warm towel rolled up neatly. You reach for the towel first. It is damp and steaming, infused with a drop of lavender and chamomile oil. You unroll it and press it gently against your face. The heat is moist and soothing. You inhale the steam. The scent of the herbs calms your nervous system instantly. You wipe your forehead, your cheeks, your eyes. The warmth penetrates your sinuses, clearing your head. You feel the skin of your face relax, the tiny muscles around your eyes unclench. You wipe your hands with the warm cloth, savoring the friction, cleaning away the dust of the road. You set the towel down and reach for the mug. It is heavy, made of thick white ceramic that holds the heat. You wrap both hands around it. It is perfectly hot. The heat transfers from the mug into your palms, a second wave of warmth to reinforce the fire. You bring the mug to your lips. The steam rises, smelling of apple cider, cinnamon, and a hint of clove. You take a small sip. The liquid is sweet, tart, and warm. It flows down your throat, a ribbon of heat that warms you from the inside out. You feel it settle in your stomach, radiating outward to your chest and limbs. It is the taste of the harvest, the taste of winter comfort. Sitting here, enveloped in the leather chair, with the fire in front of you and the warmth inside you, time ceases to have meaning. You look around the hearth. The firelight casts long, flickering shadows against the stone walls. The tools of the fireplace, the heavy iron poker, the shovel, the broom, stand like silent sentinels in their brass stand. They gleam with a dull golden light every time the fire flares up. Above the mantel, there is a large painting of the valley you just traveled through. But in the painting, it is summer. Green fields, blue river, bright sun. It seems like a dream now. The only reality is this winter night. You notice the silence of the house beyond the fire. The storm outside is just a faint murmur now, a distant memory. Here, there is only safety. The walls of Willow Creek Manor are thick. They have stood for 100 years, and they will stand for 100 more. They are protecting you. You let your gaze drift back to the flames. Your eyelids are beginning to feel heavy. The blink rate slows down. Blink, stare, blink, stare. You are conscious of how safe you are. There is no one expecting you to be anywhere. No letters to write, no conversations to hold. You are simply a guest of the fire. You sink deeper into the chair. Your shoulders drop another inch. Your jaw hangs loose. Your hands rest limply in your lap, the mug now set aside. The warmth of the fire feels like a heavy blanket draped over the front of your body. It presses you gently back into the seat. In this moment, by the hearth, you realize that the journey was worth it. The cold was worth it, because without the cold, you could not experience the exquisite pleasure of this warmth. You are exactly where you are meant to be, warm, safe, and beginning to drift. The warmth of the fire has settled deep into your bones, loosening the last nuts of the journey's fatigue. But there is another kind of emptiness that needs to be filled, a hollow space left by the long hours on the winter road. As if sensing this need, the steward appears once more at your side. He does not rush you. He simply waits until your eyes meet his, and then, with a slight bow, he gestures toward a pair of double doors at the far end of the hall. "Supper is served," he murmurs. You rise from the leather armchair. Your body feels pleasantly heavy, moving with a slow, deliberate grace. You leave the crackling hearth behind, though you know its warmth will be waiting for you later. You walk across the soft Persian rugs, through the archway, and into the dining room of Willow Creek Manor. If the grand hall was a celebration of fire and stone, this room is a sanctuary of shadow and candlelight. It is a more intimate space, designed not for grand banquets, but for quiet, restorative meals. The walls are covered in a deep hunter green wallpaper with a subtle gold damask pattern that shimmers faintly when the light hits it. The ceiling is lower here, creating a sense of privacy, of being tucked away from the world. In the center of the room stands a long table made of dark, polished mahogany. It gleams like a dark lake. Tonight, the table is set just for you. You are not seated at the far lonely end of the long table, but at a cozy spot near the room's own smaller fireplace. The table is laid with a crisp, snow-white linen cloth. It is starched and smooth, blindingly white against the dark wood. On it sits the silverware, heavy, antique silver that feels substantial in your hand, cool to the touch. The crystal water goblet catches the light from the candelabra, splitting the flame into tiny rainbows of orange and violet. You take your seat. The chair is high-backed, upholstered in velvet, and supports you perfectly. The room is silent, save for the muffled ticking of a clock and the wind outside, which now sounds like a distant memory. The storm cannot reach you here. You are about to partake in a feast designed not just to feed the body, but to soothe the soul. First comes the bread. The steward places a small woven basket in front of you. It is lined with a checkered cloth, folded over to keep the heat inside. You reach out and pull back the corner of the cloth. A cloud of steam escapes, rising into the cool air of the room. It carries with it the most primitive, comforting scent known to mankind. The smell of yeast, of toasted flour, of a hot oven. It is the smell of life itself. Inside the basket nestles a round loaf of sourdough, rustic and golden brown. The crust is thick and dusted with a fine layer of flour. You pick up the bread knife. It cuts through the crust with a satisfying crunch, a sound that echoes softly in the quiet room. As you slice, the soft, airy interior of the bread is revealed, white, steaming, and pillowy. You take a slice. It is warm in your hand, a living warmth. Next to the basket is a small ceramic dish holding a pat of farm-fresh butter. It is a deep, rich yellow, churned perhaps only yesterday. You take your silver knife and spread the butter onto the hot bread. You watch it melt. It changes from a solid to a golden liquid, soaking into the pores of the bread, disappearing into the fluffiness. You take the first bite. The crunch of the crust gives way to the soft, chewy center. The taste is salty, buttery, and slightly tangy from the sourdough. It requires you to chew slowly, to savor the texture. It is simple food, but in this moment, it tastes like a king's banquet. It grounds you. It tells your stomach that the hunger is over. As you finish the bread, the main course arrives. It is not a heavy, complicated meal that would weigh you down. It is a bowl of winter soup, thick, creamy, and restorative. The steward places a wide-rimmed porcelain bowl before you. It is filled with a roasted butternut squash and apple soup. The color is vibrant, a deep, sunset orange that looks like liquid gold in the candlelight. A swirl of heavy cream floats on the surface, creating a marbled pattern of white against the orange. A sprinkling of toasted pumpkin seeds and a single sprig of fresh sage float in the center. You pick up your spoon. It is heavy silver, balanced perfectly. You dip it into the soup. The consistency is velvet, smooth, thick. You lift the spoon to your lips. The steam warms your face. You inhale the aroma. It smells of roasted squash, sweet autumn apples, a hint of nutmeg, and the savory depth of chicken stock. It smells like the season. You take a sip. The flavor washes over your tongue, sweet, savory, and incredibly warm. The heat travels down your throat, warming your chest from the inside, matching the warmth of the fire on your back. It is comfort in liquid form. The sweetness of the apple balances the earthiness of the squash. The cream adds a richness that coats your mouth. You eat slowly. There is no rush. Dip, lift, sip, savor. With each spoonful, you feel your energy shifting. The frantic energy of travel is replaced by the slow, satisfied energy of digestion. Your body is directing its resources inward. Your heartbeat slows, your breathing deepens. The food is nourishing you, repairing the wear and tear of the cold day. The only sounds in the room are the gentle clink of the silver spoon against the porcelain bowl and the soft pop of a log shifting in the fireplace. Clink, silence. Clink, silence. Once the soup is finished, you lean back in your chair. You feel full, but not stuffed. It is a comfortable fullness, a feeling of being cared for. The steward clears the bowl away effortlessly, disappearing into the shadows. He returns a moment later with the final offering of the meal. It is not a sugary dessert that would spike your energy. It is a pot of tea. He places a silver teapot on the table, along with a delicate china cup and saucer. The china is thin, translucent, rimmed with gold. He pours the tea. The liquid is a deep, clear amber. Chamomile with a hint of vanilla and honey, he whispers. The steam rises in a lazy spiral. You lift the cup with both hands, letting the heat of the tea warm your fingers. You bring it to your nose. The scent is floral and sweet, mild and gentle. Chamomile is the flower of sleep, and vanilla is the scent of childhood comfort. You blow gently on the surface of the tea, creating small ripples. You take a sip. It is floral, warm, and soothingly sweet. The honey coats your throat. The warmth spreads through your stomach. This is the signal to your body that the day is truly done. There will be no more activity, no more demands. You gaze out the window as you sip your tea. Through the glass, you can see the snow falling again, illuminated by the light from the dining room window. The flakes look like white feathers drifting down from the sky. Outside, it is freezing, wild, and dark. Inside, you are full of warm bread and soup, holding a cup of sweet tea surrounded by candlelight. The contrast makes the comfort feel even deeper. You feel a heaviness settling behind your eyes.
It is a pleasant weight, the first tug of sleep. Your limbs feel loose and relaxed. The tension that you held in your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, it is all gone, dissolved by the warmth of the food. You place the cup back on the saucer with a soft clink. You sit there for a few more minutes, just breathing, inhaling the lingering scent of the bread, the sage, the vanilla tea. You look at the candle flame flickering in the center of the table. It dances slowly, hypnotically. You let your eyes go out of focus. You are satisfied. You are nourished. You are at peace. The meal has done its work. It has transitioned you from the active state of a traveler to the passive, receptive state of a guest ready for rest. The grand hall was for arrival. The dining room was for nourishment. Now the house invites you to go deeper into the realms of quiet imagination and sleep. You push your chair back slowly. The sound of the chair legs on the rug is muffled. You stand up, feeling the warm weight of the meal centering you. You are ready for the next step of the journey. You are ready for the library. You leave the warmth of the dining room behind, carrying the comfort of the meal with you like a glowing ember in your chest. The hallway outside is dimly lit, the gas sconces turned low, casting long, soft shadows that stretch across the runner rug. You walk slowly. There is no destination that requires speed tonight. You are simply drifting from one chamber of comfort to another, deeper one. At the end of the corridor, there is a set of tall double doors made of dark walnut wood. They are heavy, solid, and imposing. You reach out and turn the brass handle. It feels cool and smooth against your palm. The latch clicks, a crisp, mechanical sound in the silence, and the door swings open on well-oiled hinges. You step across the threshold, and the atmosphere changes instantly. If the dining room was for the body, the library is for the mind. But not the active, racing mind of your workday. This room is for the dreaming mind. It is a sanctuary of silence, a vault where time is stored in paper and ink. The first thing you notice is the hush. It is a physical sensation. The room is lined from floor to ceiling with books, thousands of them. Paper and leather are excellent insulators. They absorb every stray sound, every footstep, every breath, creating a quietness so deep it feels like you are underwater. The air here is still, undisturbed by drafts, holding its breath in reverence for the words surrounding you. And then the scent hits you.
It is the perfume of history. It is a complex, intoxicating aroma that only exists in places like this. You breathe it in slowly. It smells of old paper, that faint, sweet scent of vanilla and almond that happens as pages age and lignin breaks down. It smells of leather bindings, rich and earthy. It smells of dust, but not dirty dust. It is the dry, clean dust of antiquity. There is a hint of pipe tobacco, lingering from decades past, a ghostly reminder of the gentleman who once sat here to read the evening news. It is a dry, warm, comforting smell that signals your brain to slow down, to be quiet, to listen. You walk deeper into the room. The floor here is covered in a thick oriental rug, darker than the ones in the hall, woven in deep reds and midnight blues. Your footsteps make no sound. You are a ghost passing through a temple of knowledge. The room is lit only by the fireplace at the far end, smaller than the one in the grand hall, but intimate, and a single green-shaded banker's lamp on the desk. The light is subdued, creating pools of gold amidst the shadows. You look at the walls. They are not walls, really. They are cliffs of literature. The bookshelves tower above you, reaching 12 feet high to the coffered ceiling. A rolling wooden ladder clings to the rails, ready to slide along the shelves to reach the forgotten volumes at the top. The spines of the books create a textured tapestry of colors: faded crimson, hunter green, navy blue, and tobacco brown. Many of them have titles embossed in gold leaf, which catch the flicker of the firelight and glint like distant stars in a dark sky. Glimmer, fade, glimmer, fade. You run your fingertips along the spines of a row of books at waist height. The texture varies under your hand. Some are smooth calfskin, cool and supple. Others are rough cloth, woven and tactile. Some have raised ridges on the spine, bumps that tell of the bookbinder's craft from a century ago. It is a tactile journey through history. You are touching the same books that were touched by hands in the 1890s, the 1850s, perhaps even earlier. You feel a connection to the past, a sense of continuity that makes your own worries feel small and temporary. In the center of the room, facing the small marble fireplace, sit two large Chesterfield sofas. They are upholstered in tufted, distressed leather the color of cognac. They look less like furniture and more like giant, soft hands waiting to hold you. You move toward the one on the left. You turn and lower yourself into it. The leather groans softly as you sit, a sound that whispers of age and comfort. You sink in. The cushions are filled with down, and they yield to your weight, surrounding you, supporting you. The back of the sofa is low, allowing you to tilt your head back and look up at the shadows dancing on the ceiling. You stretch your legs out toward the fire. The heat here is gentle, a consistent warmth that toasts your toes. Now that you are still, you hear the heartbeat of the library. Somewhere in the corner, standing tall in the shadows, is a grandfather clock. It is the metronome of the house. Tick, tock, tick, tock. The sound is slow, impossibly slow. It seems to take a long time for the pendulum to swing from one side to the other. It is a rhythmic, wooden sound, deep and resonant. It does not demand your attention, it anchors it. It divides the silence into manageable pieces. Tick, you breathe in. Tock, you breathe out. The sound creates a trance. Your heart rate begins to synchronize with the clock. You are no longer running on the fast, chaotic time of the modern world. You are running on library time, mechanical, steady, and patient. The clock tells you that there is plenty of time. There is endless time. The night is young, and sleep is a destination you are drifting toward, not rushing to reach. You let your eyes wander around the room from the comfort of the sofa. You see a large globe on a wooden stand, its map faded to sepia tones, showing a world that no longer exists. Empires that have fallen, borders that have shifted, all frozen in time on that sphere. It reminds you that the world changes, but peace can be found in the stillness. You see a heavy oak desk in the corner, cluttered with inkwells, a feather quill, and stacks of parchment. It looks as if a writer has just stepped away for a moment. But no one is working tonight. The desk is resting. The words are sleeping. The air in the library feels heavier than in the rest of the house. It is a cozy heaviness, pressing gently against your eyelids. The combination of the old paper scent, the warmth of the leather, and the hypnotic ticking is a powerful sedative. You find yourself staring at a particular shelf near the fire. The books there are old friends, Dickens, Tolstoy, Thoreau. Their stories are locked away between the covers, waiting. You don't need to read them to feel their presence. Just being near them is enough. You feel the collective wisdom of the ages surrounding you, protecting you. Nothing bad can happen in a library. It is a fortress of thought. A log shifts in the fireplace with a soft crumble sound, sending a shower of tiny orange sparks up the chimney. The light flares briefly, illuminating the dust motes floating in the air. You watch them, tiny particles of dust suspended in the sunbeams. They swirl and dance in slow motion, rising on the currents of warm air, falling as they cool. They are like tiny galaxies turning in the silence. Watching them makes your eyes feel heavy. It is hard to keep them open. You rest your head against the leather wing of the sofa. The leather is cool against your cheek, contrasting with the warmth of the fire. You close your eyes for a moment, just to listen. Tick, tock, tick, tock, crackle, hiss. The sounds are layers of a sonic blanket. The silence between the ticks is as loud as the ticks themselves. It is a rich, velvety silence. You imagine the thousands of pages surrounding you, millions of words. But tonight, not a single word needs to be read. Not a single sentence needs to be analyzed. You are free from the burden of information. You are simply existing in the quiet sanctuary. You feel a profound sense of solitude, but not loneliness. You are alone with the stories. You are alone with the time. The library wraps itself around you, a shield against the noise of the world. Your breathing has become shallow and rhythmic. The heavy meal, the warm fire, the soft leather, they have all done their work. You are hovering on the edge of a deep relaxation. But there is one more ritual to perform before sleep can fully claim you. One final act of imagination. You open your eyes slowly. The room seems darker now, the corners receding farther into the night. The fire is a low, glowing bed of coals. You decide to reach for a book, not to study, but to dream. You pull yourself up from the deep embrace of the sofa, moving slowly like a diver moving through deep water. You stand up. The floor is solid beneath you. You walk over to a small table where a single book has been left, as if waiting just for you. You are ready to open the pages of the past. You are standing by the small mahogany table in the quietest corner of the library. The rest of the room has faded into a comfortable obscurity, leaving only you, the pool of warm light from the green-shaded banker's lamp, and the book that lies waiting beneath it. It is a heavy volume, bound in leather that was once a deep midnight blue, but has now faded to the soft, dusky color of a bruised plum. The cover is embossed with intricate patterns, vines and stars pressed into the skin of the book by a craftsman's hand long before you were born. You reach out and run your palm across the cover. It feels cool, textured, and slightly rough, like the bark of a smooth tree. You slide your fingers under the heavy cover and lift. Creak. The spine of the book protests gently, a dry, whispering sound of paper and glue waking from a long slumber. As the book opens, it exhales. A puff of air, trapped between the pages for who knows how long, escapes into the room. It carries that signature scent, sweet, dry, vanilla-like, tinged with the earthiness of time. It is a scent that immediately slows your pulse. But it is what happens in the light that catches your eye. As the pages part, a small cloud of dust motes rises into the air. They float up into the cone of yellow light cast by the lamp. You freeze, watching them. These are not specks of dirt. They are tiny fragments of history. They are microscopic pieces of paper, of leather, of the past itself, suspended in the air. They swirl in the convection currents of the lamp's heat, up, around, down, up. They look like golden stars in a miniature galaxy. You watch one particular speck, brighter than the others, as it dances slowly, drifting lazily to the left, then catching an updraft and rising again. Watching them is mesmerizing. It quiets the noise in your head. Your eyes lose their sharp focus, softening as they track the slow, silent ballet of the dust. It is a reminder that even the smallest things in this world have their own rhythm, their own slow dance. You lower your gaze to the open page. The paper is thick, creamy, and textured. It is not the smooth, bleached paper of modern times. It is parchment with a visible grain that catches the light. The edges are deckled, uneven, and soft to the touch. The text is printed in an old-fashioned typeface. The ink pressed deep into the fibers of the paper, creating a tactile landscape of letters. You do not need to read the book to understand it. You do not need to analyze the plot or memorize the characters. In fact, you decide not to read in the traditional sense at all. Instead, you let your eyes glide over the words, treating them like a stream of water flowing across the page. The title at the top of the page is written in flowing calligraphy, The Chronicle of the Silent Winter. You begin to read, but you read slowly, hearing the words in your mind as a soft, disembodied whisper. The language is archaic, rhythmic, and soothing. It is a story about this very valley, but from a time before maps were drawn. In the beginning, the book reads, before the roads were cut and the stone walls were laid, the valley belonged to the weavers of the mist. You imagine them, tall, translucent figures made of fog and starlight, moving silently through the ancient forests. The story tells of how they brought the winter. It says that winter was not a season of cold, but a season of rest, a gift given to the earth so it could dream. The weavers would descend from the high ridges, the text continues, carrying with them great spools of white silence. They would walk through the trees, and wherever their feet touched, the noise of the world would cease. The rushing river would turn to glass. The chatter of the squirrels would fade into sleep. The wind would lower its voice to a whisper. You trace the line of text with your finger. The paper feels dry and fragile. Your finger moves from left to right, a slow, hypnotic pendulum. They spun the snow from the moonlight, the story says. Each flake was a thought that had been quieted, a worry that had been frozen and made beautiful. They covered the sharp rocks with softness. They filled the hollows with peace. And when their work was done, they would retreat to the stars, leaving the valley under the protection of the great white blanket. As you read these words, the distinction between the story and your reality begins to blur. Are you reading about the snow, or are you feeling it? The description of the white silence seems to seep out of the book and fill the library. The room feels quieter, the shadows feel deeper. The text describes a character, a lonely traveler named Alara, who sought the weavers. She did not seek them for gold or glory, but for rest. Alara walked until her footsteps made no sound, you read. She walked until her thoughts, which had been like a swarm of bees, slowed down and landed one by one on the flowers of her mind. You feel a kinship with Alara. You too have walked a long way today. You too are seeking that silence. The sentence structure of the old book is repetitive and lulling. She walked on, and the snow fell. She walked on, and the stars watched. She walked on, and the silence grew. The repetition acts like a chant. Walked on, walked on. Your eyes begin to feel heavy. The letters on the page start to swim slightly. The sharp black ink softens into gray. You find yourself reading the same sentence twice, not because you didn't understand it, but because the rhythm is so pleasing. And the weavers whispered, "Sleep is the oldest magic. Sleep is the bridge between the worlds." You stop reading. You let your hand rest on the open page. You can feel the coolness of the table through the back of the book. You look up from the text and stare at the dust motes again. They are still dancing, but slower now, as if they too are listening to the story of the weavers. You imagine the valley outside the window. You imagine the spirits of the mist weaving the snow right now, covering your carriage tracks, covering the road, sealing you inside this warm, lamplit bubble. The story in the book has given a mythical weight to the atmosphere. The winter night is no longer just weather. It is a spell, cast to help you sleep. You turn the page. Rustle, slide, hush. The sound is loud in the quiet room. On the next page, there is a woodcut illustration. It is a simple black and white etching of a pine forest under a crescent moon. The lines are fine and cross-hatched. You study the image. You count the trees. 1, 2, 3, 4. You trace the curve of the moon. It looks like a closing eye. The text on this page is sparse. It is a poem, or perhaps a lullaby. The root goes deep. The sap runs slow. The earth is warm beneath the snow. The owl is still. The mouse is deep. The time has come for mountains to sleep. For mountains to sleep, you repeat in your mind. If mountains can sleep, vast and made of stone, then surely you can too. You feel a wave of drowsiness wash over you, starting at the top of your head and moving down to your eyelids. It is a physical weight. The effort to keep your eyes focused on the letters is becoming too much. The words are losing their meaning, becoming just beautiful shapes on paper. Loops and lines, ink and emptiness. You realize that the book has done its job. It has taken your mind off the lists, the plans, the regrets of the day, and transported it to a place of timeless myth. It has slowed your cognitive gears down to the pace of a turning page. Slowly, with great reverence, you decide to close the book. You do not want to finish the story. The story has no end. It goes on forever, just like the winter. You lift the heavy cover. Thump. It closes with a soft, final sound. The dust motes, disturbed by the movement, swirl chaotically for a moment and then begin to settle. One by one, they drift down out of the light, vanishing into the shadows of the desk. You run your hand over the cover one last time. You are leaving the ancient tale there, trapped between the leather, safe and sound. You are taking the feeling of it with you, the feeling of the white silence, the woven snow, and the oldest magic. The library feels darker now. The fire in the hearth has burned down to glowing coals. The grandfather clock ticks on. Tick, tock. You step back from the desk. You leave the circle of lamplight. You are no longer a reader. You are a sleeper in waiting. The ancient tales have whispered their secrets to you, and the secret is simple. Let go.
You turn away from the books, ready to leave the sanctuary of the mind and move toward the sanctuary of the body.
The balcony awaits. The moon awaits. You leave the library, the scent of old paper and leather lingering faintly on your clothes. The house is sleeping now. As you walk down the hallway toward the staircase that leads to your chambers, the floorboards are silent beneath the thick runners. The gas lamps have been turned down to mere glowing embers of blue and orange, casting long, stretching shadows that guide you forward. But before you retire to the tower room, before you surrender completely to the heavy quilts, you feel a pull, a gentle, magnetic invitation from the world outside. You are drawn to the end of the corridor, where a tall, glass-paned door leads to a private balcony. It is the bridge between the warm, golden sanctuary of the manor and the vast, frozen kingdom of the night. You need one last look. You need to see the silence. You reach for the heavy woolen throw that lies draped over a hallway bench. You wrap it tightly around your shoulders, pulling it up to your chin, creating a portable cocoon of warmth. You place your hand on the brass latch of the balcony door. The metal is ice cold, a sharp contrast to the heated air of the house. It sends a jolt of awareness through your fingertips. You turn the latch. Click. You push the door open. Immediately, the air changes. It rushes in to meet you, not as a wind, but as a presence. It is the breath of the New England winter, pure, sharp, and exhilaratingly clean. It smells of nothing and everything all at once. The metallic scent of snow, the crispness of pine needles frozen on the branch, and the vast, dry emptiness of the atmosphere. You step out onto the wooden floorboards of the balcony. You close the door behind you, leaving a small crack open, just enough to retreat when you are ready. But for now, you are here, in the cathedral of the night. The snow has stopped falling. The clouds that blanketed the sky earlier in your journey have been swept away by an invisible hand, revealing a sky of infinite depth. It is not black, it is a deep, rich midnight blue, polished to a shine. And dominating this sky, hanging directly above the sleeping valley, is the moon. It is a full winter moon, the wolf moon. It is smaller and sharper than a summer moon, burning with a fierce silver-white intensity. It acts as a spotlight, illuminating the world below with a clarity that seems almost supernatural. The light is so bright that you can see the colors of the night. The blue of the shadows, the silver of the ice, the charcoal of the tree trunks. You walk to the wooden railing and place your gloved hands upon it. You look down. The world has been transformed into a sculpture of glass and sugar. The snow, which looked soft and pillowy earlier, now glitters under the moonlight. The surface of the snow has frozen into a delicate crust. Millions of tiny ice crystals catch the moonbeams, sparkling like a field of crushed diamonds. As you move your head slightly, the sparkles shift and dance. Glimmer, flash, glimmer, flash. It is a sea of stars on the ground, mirroring the sea of stars in the sky. The silence out here is profound. It is not merely the absence of noise, it is a heavy physical weight. The deep snow acts as soundproofing for the earth. It absorbs the wind, the footsteps of animals, the rustle of leaves. There is no hum of machinery, no distant roar of traffic, no voices. There is only the vast, ringing silence of nature at rest. You listen closely. Can you hear it? If you hold your breath, you might hear the faint, dry snap of a frozen branch in the distance, settling under the weight of the snow. You might hear the hollow hoot of a great horned owl, echoing from the woods. Hoo, 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 hoo. The sound is mournful and low, traveling miles in the crisp air before fading into nothingness. Your eyes trace the landscape.
The trees cast long ink-black shadows across the bright white snow. These shadows are stark and defined, stretching out like the hands of a clock, marking the slow passage of the night. The shadows of the pine trees are triangular and sharp. The shadows of the naked maples are intricate webs of lace painted on the white canvas. Farther out, you can see the path the carriage took. It is just a faint depression in the snow now, already being erased by the wind. The world is resetting itself. The tracks of your journey are gone. Where you came from doesn't matter. Where you are going doesn't matter. There is only this moment, suspended in silver light. You look up at the stars. Because the air is so cold and dry, there is no haze to obscure them. They are piercingly bright. You see Orion the hunter rising in the east, his belt of 3 stars perfectly aligned. You see the Pleiades, a tiny cluster of blue gems huddled together for warmth. They twinkle fiercely, their light traveling through light years of darkness just to reach your eyes on this balcony. You take a deep breath. The air is so cold it feels like peppermint in your lungs, refreshing, awakening, and cleansing. You watch your breath leave your lips as a cloud of white mist. It swirls in front of you for a fleeting second, a ghost of your own life, before dissolving into the night air. Breathe in, breathe out. Mist, vanish. The cold is beginning to penetrate your wool wrap, but it is not unpleasant. It is a reminder of the warmth that awaits you inside. It makes you appreciate the shelter of the manor even more. This contrast, the freezing beauty outside and the toasty comfort inside, is the essence of winter coziness. You cannot truly feel cozy without the cold to compare it to. You look down at the garden directly below the balcony. There is a stone fountain there, now frozen silent. The water has been caught mid-trickle, forming long, jagged icicles that hang from the rim like crystal teeth. The moonlight strikes them, and they glow with a pale blue inner light. A single dried hydrangea bush pokes out of a snowbank, its flowers preserved as brown, papery orbs, shivering slightly in a breeze you can barely feel. Everything is asleep. The birds are asleep in the evergreens. The foxes are asleep in their dens. The trees are asleep, their sap slowed to a crawl. The earth itself is hibernating. You feel a deep connection to this cycle of rest. You are part of nature, and nature is telling you, stop, be still, recover. The moonlight seems to wash over you, bathing you in its cool tranquility. It feels as if the silver light is cleansing your mind, washing away the clutter of thoughts, leaving a clean, blank slate like the snow below.
You stand there for another minute, just witnessing the beauty. It is a lonely view, but it is not sad. It is a majestic, private show performed just for you. You feel small in the face of the vast night sky and the endless snow, but it is a comforting smallness. You do not have to hold the world up. The world holds itself up. The moon will rise and set without your help. The snow will fall without your permission. You are free to let go of control. Your nose is cold. Your cheeks are cold. The chill is nipping at your fingertips. It is time. You step back from the railing. You take one last look at the silver valley, imprinting the image of the sparkling snow and the indigo sky into your memory, saving it to dream about later. Good night, world, you whisper. The words are snatched away by the silence immediately. You turn back to the glass door. You slip through the crack, stepping back into the hallway. The change is instant. The warmth of the house wraps around you like a heavy heated towel. The smell of cedar and pine greets you again. You close the balcony door and slide the latch home. Click. You are sealed in once more. The wind is shut out. The cold is shut out. You shiver once, a pleasurable shiver that runs from your shoulders to your toes as your body reacts to the return of the warmth. Your skin tingles. You feel heavier now, the cold air having exhausted the last of your remaining energy. The bed is calling you. The tower room is waiting. Leaving the moonlight behind the glass, you turn toward the stairs that lead up to your final destination. You are ready to sleep. The chill of the balcony has faded, replaced once again by the deep, enveloping warmth of Willow Creek Manor. But something has changed. The energy of the evening has shifted. The conversation of the fire in the grand hall is a distant memory. The nourishment of the supper is a settled comfort. The intellectual journey in the library is finished. Now there is only one task remaining, and it is the most pleasant task of all, the ascent to sleep. You stand at the foot of a narrow, winding staircase tucked away in the west wing of the house. This is not the grand staircase for guests. This is the private path to the tower room, the highest and most secluded chamber in the manor. You hold a small brass chamber stick in your hand. A single beeswax candle burns in its center, the flame shaped like a teardrop of fire. It is your only companion for this final leg of the journey. The gas lamps in the hallway have been extinguished, leaving the house in a respectful, slumbering darkness. You place your hand on the banister. It is made of smooth, dark cherry wood, polished by years of touch to a texture like satin. It feels cool and solid under your palm. You take the first step. Creak. The wood complains softly under your weight. It is a gentle sound, a domestic sound. It says that the house is old, that it has held many sleepers before you, and that it will hold you safe tonight. You move slowly. There is a delicious lethargy in your limbs now. Your legs feel heavy, as if gravity has increased its pull just slightly, urging you to lie down. Lifting your foot to the next step feels like moving through water. Step, lift, step, lift. You are not in a hurry. You are savoring the transition. As you climb, the staircase curves in a gentle spiral. The candlelight casts your shadow against the curved plaster wall. You watch the shadow. It is tall and soft-edged, stretching out long before you, then shrinking as you pass the candle, then stretching out behind you. It dances with the flame. When the candle flickers in the draft of your movement, the shadow wavers, like a silent spirit guiding you upward. The higher you climb, the quieter the air becomes. You are leaving the ground floor, leaving the earth, rising into the sky. The air in the stairwell is still, and smells of dry timber, and the faint sweet scent of the burning wax in your hand. You reach the landing. A heavy wooden door stands before you, arched at the top to fit the shape of the tower. This is the threshold of your sanctuary. You turn the iron handle. The door swings open silently, revealing the tower room. It is a room shaped by the architecture of the house, circular, wrapping around you like a hug. Because it is in the tower, it feels removed from the rest of the world, a floating island of peace. The ceiling is high and conical, coming to a point in the center where shadows gather. The room is dimly lit, waiting for you. A fire has been laid in the small bedroom hearth, burning low and steady, casting a warm orange glow across the floorboards.
The light from your candle merges with the firelight, painting the room in shades of amber, copper, and gold. You walk into the room and place the candle holder on the bedside table. The atmosphere here is thick with tranquility. The furniture is heavy and dark. A tall wardrobe of walnut, a dressing table with a silver-backed mirror, and, dominating the room, the bed. But you do not go to the bed just yet. First, there is the slow, sleepy ritual of preparation. You move toward the dressing table. You catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror. You look tired, but it is a good tiredness. The tension is gone from your face. Your eyes are soft. You are ready to shed the day. You begin to undress. This act, usually so mundane, feels significant tonight. You unbutton your shirt. Pop, pop, pop. The buttons slip through the holes. You slide the fabric off your shoulders. The air of the room touches your skin, warm, dry, and soft. With every layer of clothing you remove, you are peeling away a layer of the outside world. The identity you wear during the day, the traveler, the worker, the thinker, is being cast aside. What remains is just you, the sleeper. You fold your clothes slowly, moving with a languid grace. There is no efficiency in your movements, only a lazy flow. You place them on the back of a chair. They belong tomorrow. Tonight, you need nothing but softness. You reach for your night clothes, laid out for you on the foot of the bed. Flannel, thick, soft, and warm. You pull the garment on. It feels like a second skin, loose and non-restrictive. It smells of lavender sachets and fresh air, a scent that immediately triggers a memory of deep sleep. You walk over to the wash basin on the stand. A pitcher of warm water has been left there. You pour a small amount into the bowl. The sound of the water pouring is loud in the silence. Splash, gurgle. You cup the water in your hands and splash your face. It is warm and soothing. You pick up a soft towel and pat your skin dry. The rhythm is slow. Pat, pat, pat. You feel clean. You feel renewed. You feel heavy. You wander over to the window one last time. Since this is the tower room, the windows offer a panoramic view, but heavy velvet curtains have been drawn across them, shutting out the night. You do not open them. You have already said good night to the moon. You are content to be inside, enclosed in this circular fortress. The shadows in the room are mesmerizing. As the fire in the hearth settles, the light shifts. The shadow of the bedpost stretches across the rug like a long finger. The shadow of the wardrobe looms in the corner, dark and protective. These shadows are not frightening. They are the guardians of your sleep. They make the lighted areas feel cozier, more precious. You watch the candle flame on the bedside table. It is steady now, a perfect tier of yellow light with a blue center. It illuminates the book you placed there, the glass of water, the white pillows. It creates a small circle of visibility, and everything outside that circle falls away into the darkness. You feel a yawn building in your chest. It starts deep, expanding your lungs, stretching your jaw, squeezing your eyes shut. Yawn. It is a massive, satisfying release of oxygen. Your eyes water slightly. The room blurs. Your body feels incredibly heavy now. Your arms feel like lead weights hanging at your sides. Your legs feel like they're made of wood. The short walk from the window to the bed feels like a journey of miles. You approach the bed. It is a four-poster carved from solid oak, immense and inviting. The mattress is high, promising deep support. The covers are turned down, revealing crisp white sheets and a mountain of quilts. You stand by the edge of the bed for a moment, just looking at it. It looks like a cloud. It looks like paradise. The anticipation of lying down is almost as sweet as the act itself. You know that in mere seconds, you will be off your feet, horizontal, supported. You blow out the candle on the dresser. Puff. One light gone. The room gets darker.
You walk to the hearth. You use the brass poker to nudge a log, ensuring it will burn safely through the night. The fire flares up briefly, then settles into a deep red glow. It will be your nightlight, a dim, pulsing presence in the corner. You move to the bedside table. You do not blow this candle out yet. You need it to guide you into the covers. You sit on the edge of the bed. The mattress sinks under you, soft but firm. The springs creak faintly, a lullaby of the bed. You lift your legs one by one, swinging them up onto the mattress. The effort is the last thing you will do today. You are in the tower room. You are disconnected from the earth, high up in the air, surrounded by stone and wood and velvet. The journey up the stairs was a journey into the self. You have arrived at the center of your rest. You are ready to slide under the covers. You are ready to surrender to the final stage. The lethargy has taken over completely. You are no longer a person doing things. You are a consciousness ready to drift. The tower stands firm against the night. The shadows wait. The bed waits. You are here. You are sitting on the edge of the mattress, suspended in that delicious, fragile moment between the waking world and the kingdom of sleep. The room is dim, lit only by the dying embers in the hearth and the single candle flame that you have not yet extinguished. The air in the tower room is cooling down. With the fire fading, the winter night is pressing gently against the stone walls, bringing a refreshing chill to the air that makes the prospect of the bed even more irresistible. You turn your attention to the sanctuary that awaits you. This is not a modern bed with lightweight synthetic covers. This is a bed from a time when sleep was a serious business, a fortress built against the cold. The linens are white and crisp, but beneath the top sheet lies the true secret of winter comfort, flannel. You run your hand over the bottom sheet. It is made of thick, brushed cotton flannel. The texture is fuzzy, soft, and instantly warm to the touch. There is no shock of cold fabric against your skin. It feels like the softest fur or the gentle touch of moss. It is a fabric designed to hold heat, to capture it and keep it close to you. And then there are the quilts. They are piled high, a mountain of warmth. These are heirlooms, stitched by hand decades ago. You can see the patchwork patterns in the dim light. Squares of velvet, triangles of wool, remnants of old coats and dresses, all sewn together into a heavy protective tapestry. Inside, they are stuffed with thick cotton batting or perhaps raw wool. They have weight, real substantial weight. You are ready. You lift the corner of the heavy stack of covers. It takes a little effort, a testament to their density. You slide your legs in. Rustle, slide, sigh. The sensation is immediate and overwhelming. As your legs stretch down into the darkness of the bed, they are enveloped in the softness of the flannel.
The fabric creates a gentle friction against your skin, warming you instantly. You slide your body down inch by inch until your head finds the pillow. The pillow is large and overstuffed with goose down. As you lay your head back, it sinks, slowly, deeply. The pillow rises up around your ears, muffling the silence of the room, cradling your head in a cloud of softness. Now you reach down and pull the covers up. You pull them up over your waist, over your chest, up to your chin. You tuck the edges in around your shoulders, sealing yourself inside. The weight of the quilts presses down on you. It is a glorious, grounding pressure. It feels like a hug that doesn't end. This weight anchors you to the mattress, telling your nervous system that you are safe, you are held, you are not going anywhere. The feeling of floating away is gone. You are securely planted in the heart of comfort. Inside this cocoon, the temperature begins to rise. Your body heat is reflected back to you by the layers of wool and flannel. A pocket of toasty warmth is forming around you, a stark and beautiful contrast to the cool air that touches your nose and forehead. You wiggle your toes, stretching them out into the furthest corners of the bed, feeling the flannel embrace them. You lie still. You are flat on your back, your hands resting gently on your stomach or by your sides. The heavy quilts pin you down in the most pleasant way possible, rendering your muscles useless. You have no desire to move. You have no desire to turn. The weight has paralyzed you with peace. And now, with your body taken care of, your senses turn outward one last time to the sounds of the night. The tower room is high up, exposed to the elements on all sides. This makes it the perfect observatory for the song of the wind. Outside, the wind has picked up slightly. It is not a storm. It is a winter lullaby. It is the breath of the valley moving through the trees and sweeping around the stone walls of the manor. Whoosh, hush, whoosh, hush. You hear it sweeping past the chimney, a low, hollow sound like someone blowing across the top of a bottle. It is a mournful, ancient sound, but it does not make you feel lonely. Instead, it makes you feel grateful. It reminds you of the thick stone walls and the heavy glass that separates you from the freeze. The wind searches for a way in, but there is none. It brushes against the window panes. Tap, tap, rattle. It is a gentle sound. The branch of a nearby pine tree, heavy with snow, brushes against the glass, then pulls away. Scrape, silence. Then a gust of wind throws a handful of dry, hard snow against the window. Tick, tick, tick. It sounds like sand being thrown against the glass. It is a chaotic, natural rhythm. It is the sound of the world trying to get your attention, but you are out of reach. You are safe inside your fortress of flannel. The wind whistles softly through a small gap in the eaves, a high, thin note that rises and falls with the gusts. Ee, ooh. It is the music of the night. It is hypnotic. You find yourself listening to the pattern. Is it getting louder? Is it fading? Gust, rattle, silence. Gust, whistle, silence. The contrast is what matters. The wilder the wind sounds, the warmer you feel. The colder the world sounds, the deeper you snuggle into your quilts. You are an island of heat in a sea of cold. You feel the heavy quilt pressing on your chest. Rise and fall. Rise and fall. Your breathing has slowed to match the rhythm of the wind. When the wind sighs, you sigh. When the wind pauses, you hold the stillness in your lungs. The darkness in the room is soft and velvety. The fire is just a faint, pulsing red eye in the corner now, barely casting a shadow. The candle you left burning on the bedside table is the last vigil. You turn your head slightly on the pillow to look at it. The flame is still there, small and golden. But it is time. You don't need the light anymore. The darkness is a friend. You reach out one hand from the warmth of the covers. The air of the room feels surprisingly cold on your bare arm, a shock that makes you crave the quilt even more. You reach for the candle snuffer or simply cup your hand behind the flame. Puff. The light vanishes. For a second, the darkness feels absolute, but then your eyes adjust. You see the faint blue-gray square of the window, illuminated by the moonlight filtering through the heavy velvet curtains. You see the faint red glow of the hearth. The rest is shadow. You pull your arm back into the warmth immediately, tucking the quilt tight under your chin again. You reseal the cocoon. Now there is only the feeling of the bed and the sound of the wind. The wind seems to be whispering directly to you now. It is telling you that the valley is asleep. The horses in the stable are asleep, standing warm in their stalls. The birds are asleep, heads tucked under wings. The trees are standing still. Sleep, the wind seems to whisper as it brushes the glass. Sleep.
You feel a wave of heaviness move through your legs. They feel like they are sinking through the mattress, down into the floor, rooting you to the spot. The sensation moves up to your hips, your stomach, your chest. The heavy quilts feel like they have doubled in weight. They are holding you down, pressing the stress out of your body. Your mind begins to drift. You visualize the snow piling up on the windowsill outside, layer upon layer of white silence. You visualize the wind swirling the snowflakes in the air, a ballet of white dust in the dark. You are warm, so incredibly warm. The heat has penetrated your muscles, your bones. It has melted the last of the tension. The tapping on the window becomes a rhythm you can rely on. Tap, tap, hush. It is a metronome for sleep. You feel your consciousness beginning to fray at the edges. The thoughts of the day, the carriage ride, the arrival, the supper are becoming distant images, like photographs fading in the sun. They are floating away, carried off by the wind outside. You are just a body in a bed, a warm heart beating under heavy wool. You snuggle deeper. Your nose is the only part of you exposed to the cool air. You breathe in the coolness, you breathe out the warmth. In, out. The wind continues its song, but it sounds further away now. The heavy quilts have become your world. You are safe. You are warm. You are ready to let go completely. The wind whispers one last time, a gentle hush that wraps around the tower. And you drift. The candle is out. The wind has become a distant hum, a vibration that you feel more than you hear. The heavy quilts have done their work, pinning you gently to the earth, creating a warm, impenetrable shell around your weary body. Now there is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to see. There is only the drift. You are lying on your back, your head cradled deeply in the soft down pillow. Your eyes are closed, but even behind your eyelids,
You can sense the state of the room. The darkness is not empty, it is a presence. It is a velvet curtain that has been drawn around you, soft and thick. In the corner of the room, the hearth is breathing its last breath of the night. The flames that danced so lively an hour ago have vanished. All that remains is a bed of glowing coals, deep, dark red embers that pulse slowly in the shadows. Pulse, fade, pulse, fade. You watch this rhythm through the slit of your half-closed eyes. It is the heartbeat of the night. It is a dying light, but it is not sad. It is the color of rest. The red glow is soft, barely illuminating the floorboards. It is getting dimmer with every breath you take. As the fire fades, so does your connection to the waking world. The light is retreating, pulling back into the stone, taking the day with it. You feel a profound heaviness settling behind your eyes. It is a sweet, irresistible weight. Your eyelids feel like they are made of lead. Opening them requires an effort you are no longer willing to make. You let them drop, close. For a moment, you try to lift them again, just to check the room one last time. You manage a flutter. A tiny slit of vision opens, blurring the red embers into a smear of color. But the effort is too great. Gravity wins. Your eyelids slide shut again, sealing themselves. This time, they will stay closed. With your eyes closed, your other senses begin to shut down, one by one. The sense of touch begins to blur. You know you are under the quilts. You know the flannel is against your skin, but the boundaries of your body are dissolving. You can no longer tell where your skin ends and the bed begins. Your legs feel like they have melted into the mattress. Your arms are heavy logs sinking into soft mud. Your hands, resting by your sides, feel miles away from your head. You are losing the map of your body. You are just a warm center of existence, floating in a dark space. Your breathing has shifted. You are no longer controlling it. It has found its own ancient rhythm. Inhale, slow and deep. Exhale, long and complete. The air leaving your lungs carries away the last atoms of tension. With every exhale, you sink an inch deeper into the bed. Down, down, down. It feels as if the bed is lowering you into a deep, warm cavern. Your mind, which has been your companion on this long journey, finally begins to unspool. The thoughts that usually race around your head, the lists, the worries, the memories, are slowing down. They are becoming slippery. You try to hold on to a thought about the carriage ride, but it slips through your mental fingers like water. You try to picture the library, but the image is fuzzy, like a watercolor painting left out in the rain. The images of the day drift past you, but they are no longer yours. The spinning carriage wheel, fading. The snowy pine trees, fading. The golden lantern light, fading. The smell of old books, fading. They are drifting away into the mist. You are the boat that has untied its rope from the dock. You are drifting away from the shore of reality, moving silently out into the center of a vast, dark lake. The water is calm. The sky is black. There is no wind here. There is only the gentle rocking of the drift. You are entering the twilight zone of sleep, the hypnagogic state where reality and dream begin to merge. You see shapes behind your closed eyes, swirling colors of
purple and indigo. They expand and contract, blooming like flowers in the dark. They are beautiful and meaningless. You watch them without judgment. You are a spectator in your own mind. The silence in the room is absolute now. If the wind is still blowing outside, you cannot hear it. If the house is creaking, it does not reach you. The only sound is the sound of your own blood rushing softly in your ears, a white noise that sounds like the ocean in a seashell. Whoosh, whoosh. It is the sound of life resting. You feel a wave of numbness start at your toes. It is a warm, pleasant numbness. It travels up your shins, past your knees, into your thighs. It is the feeling of your muscles turning off. The wave moves up your torso, relaxing your stomach, your chest, your shoulders. It moves down your arms to your fingertips. Finally, it reaches your face. Your jaw unhinges slightly. Your tongue relaxes from the roof of your mouth. Your forehead smooths out. You are completely limp. You are a rag doll of peace. The embers in the fireplace have likely turned to ash by now. The room is in total darkness. But you are not afraid of the dark. The dark is the blanket of the soul. It is the void where you recharge. You welcome the blackness. You wrap it around yourself. You feel yourself falling, not a frightening fall, but a slow, controlled descent, like a feather falling down a deep well, drifting side to side, lower, lower. The conscious mind makes one last attempt to speak. It whispers, "Are we sleeping?" And the subconscious mind answers, "Hush, let go." The connection is severed. You are no longer in Willow Creek Manor. You are no longer in the 19th century. You are no longer a person with a name and a history. You are simply a sleeper. The darkness becomes textured, thick, and warm. It enters your nose, your ears, your mind. It cleanses everything. You are drifting into the delta waves, the slow, high-amplitude brain waves of deep, restorative sleep. This is where the healing happens. This is where the magic lives. You feel a sensation of expansion. It feels as if you are expanding to fill the whole room, then the whole valley, then the whole night sky. You are everywhere and nowhere. The stillness is perfect. Drift, float, sink. There is no more time. There is no tomorrow. There is only this eternal now of comfort. You are safe. You are warm. You are loved. You are asleep. The journey to Willow Creek is complete. The carriage is stopped. The fire is out. The book is closed. Rest now. Deep, deep rest.